Yes.
Scott, thank you for joining us. It feels like a while since we've been in league action, but finally we've got a game to look forward to this weekend against Morecambe. Can I get your thoughts over that one?
Yeah, it's felt like an age since we last played in the league. So we're raring to go. The boys are raring to go. We've had a really good week of training, or couple of weeks of training, should I say. So now we're in good spirits. The players are in a good place. They've trained excellent this week, especially. So another tricky game because their last away game they beat MK Dons, a strong MK Dons team, 2-1, and so we know that no matter what their form looks like, they have got that potential to win a game away from home. So we know it's going to be a tricky game.
How has the last couple of weeks been in terms of preparation? Has it been frustrating? Has it been quite pleasing to get more sort of work into the lads on the training ground? How's it sort of worked out?
I think frustration was probably early on, when we knew we didn't have a game to look forward to at the weekend. But, once we knew kind of how the days in front of us looked, we just got on with it. And, the players have worked brilliantly on the training ground. It gave me a bit of time to, study Morecambe earlier than what I'd normally look at them. So that's given me a bit of time. And, we've had a really good week. So no, it's been okay.
Yeah, and do you think that becomes a positive in the end overall after having analysed the last 2 weeks?
I'll let you know after Saturday.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
But yeah, no, listen, we feel as if we're in a good place. I'm expecting there to be a really good performance on Saturday. But yeah, I'll let you know after the game.
And obviously Morecambe, as you said, we know what they can bring to us. It's going to be another tough game inside in good away form, so we're going to need to be at the top of our game, aren't we?
For sure, yeah, for sure. Listen, there's no easy games at this level. I know, you look at their form, you would argue that it's not been great, but like I say, they have won some games where they've played tough opposition away from home, and like I say, the MK Dons one is an highlight really, where they went to MK and beat them 2-1, and I watched that game, and they've got some real threats. So we know we've got to be on our mettle, and we've got to be at our very best to get anything from the game.
Yeah, and I suppose it's a chance for some fitness to come back into the lads. Some of the ones who have been missing out, especially considering all these games have still got to be played at some point. So, eventually towards sort of March, April time, they're all going to start catching up, aren't they? Yeah,
they're stacking up now, aren't they? So I think I was asked that question a couple of weeks ago about the fixture build-up, but I don't suppose it was any worse than this time last year. I think around this time last year we had 22 games left. I know the season went on a week longer, but it's no different really, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Excellent. Scott, transfer window. We're on the final day today. Where are we? Are you expecting anyone coming in?
Yeah, I am still. I'm waiting for an update from the owners. They've been working extremely hard in the background, trying to put things together. So, like I say, I'm waiting for an update on that. But yeah, I'm still hopeful that we'll get one or two, or if not maybe three, in the building between now and 11 o'clock tonight.
And would that be too soon for them to be included at the weekend, do you think?
Maybe not. Depends on which ones we get in. Will depend on that. So, I've prepared the team accordingly for Saturday without them because I have to. And then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's been a relatively quiet one. In previous years, we've seen Crawley bring in quite a few. Yeah. Well, not for you, understandably. I mean, from the outside looking in.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I understand.
And from the outside, it looks like Crawley probably haven't got the biggest budget. If you had a massive budget, would that make it harder because you'd feel like you have to spend it, and would that potentially disrupt the team, or does it having a smaller budget help in any way?
Well, I think first of all, there's a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes just to bring one player in, no matter what your budget is. I think that goes without saying. We've kind of like had a few Zoom meetings with the owners and kind of looked at what we want to bring in and looked at not just the areas we want to bring in on the pitch, but also personnel, targets. And then kind of the guys are in the background, going to work with trying to make that happen. whether we've got a big budget, small budget, or an indifferent one, it's the same work. You know, I think that the squad that we built in the summer has done extremely well. Do they need a little bit of help to have that final push? Yeah, I think they do. But if it comes to 11 o'clock tonight and there's no business, then so be it. I really back my squad that I've got still, you know, and I really do. Do I need some help? Yeah, I think we do. You know, and I'll stand here and say that. I think that it's clear to see that maybe another striker, you know, maybe a midfield player who can play kind of different positions as well, possibly, you know, and possibly even a defender coming in would be kind of the areas that we're looking at. But like I say, I don't think it matters whether you've got a big, massive budget, a small budget, or whatever it is. The work still needs to be done no matter what.
Yeah. And how closely have you watched other teams in League Two this transfer window? And is there anyone in particular surprised you with bringing in lots of players or anything?
No, I haven't really took much notice. I mean, I have kept my eye on it, obviously. You know, I saw, obviously, Romeo Hutton went from Swindon to Gillingham, and I know kind of he went, you know, for good wages. So fair play to him. You know, there's been another, you know, one or two different ones that have kind of been highlighted, but listen, I'm, you know, focusing on us and us only. You know, that's what I have to do. Yeah.
Traditionally, managers sort of look at 40 points at the beginning of the season just to sort of try and ensure safety. You're on 39 points at the moment. Knowing you, I imagine that wasn't even a thought this year. But you're only like 1 point. I assume, hopefully, you get over the 40-point barrier. Is that a sort of early target that you've hit?
No, I didn't look at that target at all. Like I've said, we've got kind of in-house targets that we've set ourselves. I don't want to publicly say that. I may say that at the end of the season what they was, but I still think that we're on track. I think that we've done extremely well. But no, 40 points would never be a target for me. I think that I'd be doing the squad a disservice if I looked at 40 points as a target.
Yeah, and looking at the squad, at Peterborough last week, I think you said Dion had a slight niggle, and Jay obviously came off early. I think he was illness, so injury. How are they looking for this week?
Yeah, they're fine. They've trained all week, so yeah, they're fine. So Dion was really ill with kind of flu symptoms and that. So he literally couldn't, you know, break into a trot, let alone a sprint. So he was really struggling. So there's no way he could have played in that game, even though we prepped for him to play, because we was hopeful that he could probably get better over the 24 hours before the game. It wasn't the case, so we had to make that change. And Jay's fine. So yeah, so I've got pretty much a full complement really, apart from obviously the one Ben Gladwin, but everybody else is ready to go.
Excellent, thanks Scott.
Thank you.
Cool. Ash.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Crawley have really kicked on this season, a massive, significant improvement, and the fact that we're even, you know, talking about flirting with reaching the playoffs or finishing around those levels is testament to how well you've structured the team and how well they played. But
Thank you.
Say you don't get any more business done over the line this January transfer window. Do you think your squad can fulfil their potential that they have that season?
Yes, I do, and I think that with what we've built in terms of the culture, with how we work every day, if we was not to do any business, I think the players would come together even stronger. And I back how they work every day. I back it for them to perform on a Saturday. We don't always get it right. You know, there's been times when our form's dipped. It's normal. It's a season. You know, it's a season where you're not always going to have it how you want it. There is going to be dips in that season, and we've had that. We're an inexperienced team, so we're probably going to have it more than a experienced team would have it. But I'm really pleased with how we've attacked this season so far. Like I say, we've got 19 games left. We want to win as many of them as we possibly can and see where it takes us.
Sorry to repeat yourself, Scott, but what would kind of be your explanation to the fans sitting at home? We've had the one confirmed signing. We've had Lawrence Maguire, become permanent with the club as well. But what's your explanation to that fan sitting at home, wondering why there hasn't been, well, a bulk of new players brought in, or would you say that this is fairly normal when you compare it to Crawley's last January transfer window?
Yeah, what I would say is that we feel as if the squad that we've built in the summer has really achieved, on the pitch, and we've done fantastically well. There don't need to be wholesale changes. There doesn't need to be big numbers coming through the door. And not only that, the January window is a skinny market. It's not the same as a summer window where you can almost rebuild the squad pretty much like we did in the summer. You can't do that in January. I know fans will probably want to see 5 and 6 and 7 players probably coming through the door. No problem, I understand that. But I think that we've done really well with the squad that we've got. And do I feel that we need to add to that? Yes, I do. But it ain't going to be a lot of numbers. It's going to be 1 player, 2 players, very most 3. And hopefully that will get done today. But like I say, it's a skinny market. There's not loads of quality available because all the good ones as such are playing in their teams, and the ones that are not could end up being potentially good for us, and we could find some gems that might not be somebody else's player, but he might be brilliant for us, like we've found in the past. So a lot of hard work goes into it to find these players. A lot of hard work goes into it to hold discussions with agents and parent clubs or whatever it may be. And trust me, there's a lot of work gone in. A lot of work. I know the owners have been pretty much on it every single day. Talking to different clubs and owners and agents and myself and Zoom calls, and it has been a lot of work going in. And like I say, I'm just waiting for updates now, and hopefully we'll see some new faces just to add to the group.
There's a danger that phone could ring right now on the desk with the next one.
It probably already has.
I'm sorry if I'm keeping you from missing one.
No problem.
Say it does come down to one area, one signing coming through the door. Where would you put that down to on the pitch? If you could have one thing now out of this window, what position would it be?
I think I get the question, but I think it can be irrelevant because it depends on kind of the moving parts of the one area. It might end up being the player that we least need, that we get through the door. You know what I mean? So I don't want to kind of highlight that, but I think it is clear to see that Dan Horsey's done an amazing job on his own, really, as a striker, and there's not been very many times I've been able to take him off the pitch because we've not really had a natural striker to replace him and give him a kind of a rest at times. So I suppose in a way that's probably one area we do need. But like I say, I don't want to say that's it. That's just that area because we're working extremely hard to make that happen. But we'll see.
You spoke about how you think you've done extremely well with the squad that you've got this season as well, but also when you look back on the fact that where you are in the league and the fact that you've also made Lawrence Maguire a permanent deal, that is testament to the recruitment that Crawley had in the summer as well, to see how much they're reaping the rewards from those signings.
I think that the recruitment in the summer was outstanding, if I'm honest with you. I thought it was very, very good. People would probably look at it from the outside and think, what on earth's going on at Crawley? They've got rid of all these season-long pros and we signed players from non-league. But there was a lot of work went into signing the right players from non-league. It wasn't just a case of plucking him out because he scores a few goals or plucking him out because he defends really well. A lot of work went into it and a lot of studying of these players and a lot of talking to different people and finding out about their character. And of course we all, here at Crawley, we've got some fantastic coaches in the background who we back ourselves to make these players better. Are they the finished article when they walk through the door? No, they're not. Are they the finished article when they walk out the door? They're closer to it for sure because of the work we do on the training ground.
And it's Morecambe at home this weekend. At the moment, Crawley, they're 12th in the league, 5 points off the playoff positions. You've spoken to before about how, on average, you probably need to be getting a bit more points per game to finish with that total if you really want to contend with those spots. But looking at that and and making those improvements going forward, what do you think it is that your side really need to change or improve on going into this, well, kind of almost, if you like, second half of the season, this final push?
I think the biggest thing for me would be to win when we're playing well. You know, there's been a lot of performances where I feel that we've played excellent and not won. You know, we've got to turn them performances into wins for me. You know, I can probably reel off 4 or 5 now off the top of my head where we've been excellent in the games and we've not got anything from. You know, MK Dons away from home, we were outstanding in that game. Mansfield at home, Wrexham at home, Gillingham at home. You know, there's just a few to think about where we've completely dominated the games. And they've been against good sides, by the way, you know. But we've not got the result that probably the performance deserves, and that's one thing that we've spoke about as a group. You know, we've made it really clear that whilst we don't want the performances to change, but we need the results to flip into wins and not losses or draws.
Thank you, Scott.